Yeah, she said it looked like Blake Lively was falling for Justin Baldoni. Hi and welcome to Flow Some Talk. I'm Shashti Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences working as an entertainment reporter in Hollywood. And as you know, a lot about the legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So today is another day, and you guys have sent me so much material. I haven't been able to go through it all so far, but this story really caught my attention. So thank you guys for sending it to me. A lot of you send it. So I'm not going to credit one specific person here, but this video interview that was done on Sky News in Australia is really interesting. And I think this psychiatrist who's interviewed here is really spot on. So this person is a psychiatrist and an author. Her name is Dr. Carole Lieberman. She works as an expert witness in court cases, meaning that when they need an expert in psychiatry, they would call her and she would analyze the situation for the defendant or for the plaintiff in a case. She also works as a psychiatric consultant on TV shows and in movies. And she was interviewed by Sky News Australia to talk about how Blake Lively, when she dismissed her emotional distress claims against Justin Baldoni and what her thoughts were around this. And it seemed like Dr. Lieberman had really looked into the details of this case. She had watched the video. Remember the dance video where Blake Lively was accusing Baldoni of smelling her, saying she smelled nice and biting her lip. And as we know, that was kind of her strongest argument for SH in her lawsuit. And then, of course, we saw the video with our own eyes, and so did the psychiatrist. And this is how she analyzed that video.
And really what I think happened is that she got into her character, and I think she was starting to fall for him. And she was very uncomfortable with that possibility because, of course, she's married, and that made her all very uncomfortable. And so at the end, she just decided to blame him for harassment rather than facing and acknowledging her own feelings.
Yeah, she said it looked like Blake Lively was falling for Justin Baldoni. And I know there were so many speculations around this. People have been saying it for months now. And now I'm kind of starting to believe that as well, because the way she has behaved around this, it doesn't really make any sense unless there were real feelings there. Why would you want to punish someone so badly for just smelling your hair or for saying something that you felt was uncomfortable? Why would you go to this length to destroy someone's life? And at this point, you have to remember, Blake Lively has ruined Justin Baldoni's legacy, because this is what he's going to be remembered for. He can never get that back. She stole his legacy. Another thing that Dr. Lieberman pointed out here, which I also think at this point is bound to happen, is if Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's relationship can survive this.
And now, things are not looking good for her. And I wonder if her husband, how much longer he's going to stay supporting her, because this has just really blown up.
Yeah, she's saying for how much longer can Ryan Reynolds support his wife in this? As many people were saying before that he was the mastermind behind all of this, I don't really think he was. I think he was supporting Blake, and I think they have the same ideas about a lot of things and that they wanted to take over the movie. But I don't think Ryan Reynolds is behind the idea of suing Justin Baldoni for SH. I think that's Blake for sure. And as some people have speculated before, maybe Ryan Reynolds had the feeling that there was something going on between them, or he felt that Blake Lively was attracted to Justin. And that's another reason for him to show up on set all the time. I don't know. We weren't there, but I do find it interesting that a psychiatrist is analyzing it like this. For sure. She's also saying that she thinks Blake Lively regretted that she ever started this as well. I think so too. If she knew the consequences of this lawsuit, I don't think she would ever have started it. And now that she's in the middle of it, she just keeps doubling down, and it's making her look worse and worse and worse in the public eye. And even I think if she should win this case, I think it would be even worse for her, because people would be so angry with her if she was to win this case, or if his defamation case against her were dismissed. It would only make her suffer more, or her image suffer more, and Ryan Reynolds' image suffer more. So her latest move against Baldoni really made me, I feel kind of sick to my stomach, actually. I was walking Oscar earlier and I was reading about these things, and I was like, wow, this is really affecting me a little bit personally, because I get so angry. So Blake has now gotten another 14 advocacy groups and organizations that are protecting women and women's rights and children's rights and DV survivors, have now signed another amicus brief on behalf of Blake Lively, trying to pressure the judge to support the Me Too law that was launched a few years ago in California. As we know, this law is not valid in New York, and it shouldn't be, because it's not written in New York. It's only valid in California and maybe some other states, I don't know. But anyways, these groups are pressuring the judge and saying that if you don't allow Blake Lively to use this law against Baldoni, so his defamation suit is dismissed, you are going to ruin it for all Me Too victims in the future. This is really horrific blackmailing, if you ask me, and it's putting the judge in a tricky position as well. And of course, again, they're using Justin Baldoni's words against him. So in a statement to Us Weekly, these organizations said that all are united in opposing Justin Baldoni's attempt to dismantle a law designed to protect women who speak up, simply to protect himself. Yeah, I mean, so the headline here in Us Weekly is saying, Blake Lively slams Justin Baldoni for abandoning his message of listening to women. So again, they're using his words against him, saying that he should support women because he says he's a feminist, and he should let Blake Lively win this case against him. And he should drop the defamation suit, because if he doesn't, he's going to ruin it for all Me Too victims in the future. I'm trying not to be emotional about it and be objective here, but I think this is just like, he's being like bombarded with these women's groups protecting Blake Lively. And it says here that he's turning his back on his feminist beliefs. Baldoni is now contradicting years of his own public persona, Lively's legal team told Forbes in a statement, citing Baldoni's legal team's attempt to challenge the amicus briefs. So Lively's team accused Baldoni and his lawyers of trying to prevent women's rights groups from being heard, is what they're saying here in a statement, alleging they are trying to shred a law designed to protect all victims just to make sure that they bury one, referring to the Me Too law Lively invoked. I think that Justin Baldoni should get signatures and send amicus brief from organizations that are saying that how Blake Lively is abusing the legal system to save her own ego. She cannot accept the fact that people don't like her anymore. And that's the reason behind all of this. And now, of course, they're using DARVO again. Remember that, which stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Offender. It's a pattern of behavior used by individuals, particularly perpetrators of abuse, to manipulate and gaslight their victims. That's what they're accusing Baldoni of here. So again, they're saying here that Justin Baldoni has said that he once upon a time urged men to listen to women in your life, to hold their anguish and actually believe them if that they're saying is against you, even if what they're saying is against you. The statement concluded, these women, our organizations, are sounding the alarm about his DARVO tactics and the chilling effect they could have well beyond this case. So they're saying he should take one for the team here, because if he doesn't, he's going to punish women for all times, because he is so selfish for defending himself. Yeah, so now 19 organizations are backing Blake Lively. I wonder how much she's going to give these organizations when this is over, and what the connection is here. How did they convince these people to back her? Did they read the case? I am so surprised by this and really like appalled by it all, I have to say. Yeah. In the meantime, Blake Lively is posting on social media, of course, about how generous she is. She is reposting someone who posted something about her Blake Brown products, saying that she is the most generous person that she's ever met.
What makes this brand so special is Blake herself. She is one of the kindest, most genuine people that I know, and supporting her is easy because of how I watch her show up for other people so naturally.
And then there's all these like video clips of Blake Lively hugging random girls because they support her and buy her products. Can you believe it? Of course, People magazine made a big story about one of Blake Lively's Instagram stories. It says that Blake Lively credits her mom for her creative empowerment and passion. She always told me I couldn't mess up. So they took this post from Blake Lively's Instagram story, and they wrote about it because she said she was grateful to her mom, showing some flowers. So they're explaining here that in a touching tribute shared to her mom via Instagram stories on Thursday, June 5th, Lively shared a photo of herself holding a bouquet. The image shows Lively smiling from ear to ear with a heartfelt note dedicated to her mom written on top of it. I wonder if Blake Lively's team are writing these articles for people, and then they sit and they're like, Blake, why don't you post this picture with something to your mom? We need to show more than ever before that you are a very passionate, very empathetic person, that you're a very generous person. So why don't we post this picture of some flowers, and People magazine will write about it and say that you love your mom and you're so generous and you're such a sweet daughter. Then she also posted a photo which Daily Mail picked up here, saying that Blake Lively offers to do funeral arrangements for fans in bizarre "It ends with us" theme post amid lawsuit. Yeah, she is showing photos of more flowers, saying that you should contact her if you need any arrangements for a funeral. It's so bizarre. I have a feeling now that Blake Lively is about to lose it. She can't handle the stress anymore, and she's just being really erratic, and she's just posting nonstop on social media, smiling. I think it's almost scary the way she's reacting and acting these ways. It's so bizarre, everything she's posting on social media. Also, Ryan Reynolds' movie has been delayed here. According to Deadline, his Animal Friends, a big movie with big stars, both Jason Momoa, Audrey Plaza, Addison Rae, Dan Levy, Lil Ray Howard, blah, blah, blah. First, it was supposed to be premiering on August 15th under Sony, but then it moved to Warner's, who was then producing it, so the studio behind it, and then they shifted the release date to October 10, and now they have pushed it even further to May 1st, 2026, after probably the trial is over. I don't know if this is related to the trial and to the legal mess that Ryan Reynolds is in, but it could be. Why would they risk premiering a movie with him in it when there's so much backlash towards him right now, that everything they put, anything that he's related to on social media, like that Nat Geo film that he was pushing lately, and they had to close off the comment section. I think that big studios that put so much money into a product right now, they're not willing to risk that. This article doesn't state the reason why it's been delayed, but yeah, that's my guess. Also, on top of this, Ryan Reynolds is buying like a professional sailing club, which has been headlines everywhere with Hugh Jackman. This is something that New York Times is covering, though. Isn't that interesting? They did a story on this, but they didn't cover anything about the Taylor Swift drama. Yeah, it's more important news that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are buying a sailing club together than that Taylor Swift subpoena was dropped. And we know the reason for that, because she was blackmailed by her best friend Blake Lively. Of course, New York Times didn't write about that, but this is big news. I feel that they're also using these like flood tactics that I talked about with Ashley Brianna Eve the other day. If you watched that video, she's such an expert in branding and marketing. And we talked about this flooding concept, that you're flooding the headlines with other news when there's so much negative news about you. So right when the news broke that his movie was pushed, Ryan Reynolds bought a sailing club, and it's in so many headlines everywhere. Like, why would anyone care if he buys a sailing club? Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm sorry about the news I had to bring to you about those 19 advocacy groups. I will also be posting a long podcast today, which is not going to be about this. It's going to be about beauty and Hollywood and women and pressure and beauty standards and things that really upset me about these things. So if you want to listen to that, I'd be grateful. It will be on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart, and here on YouTube. And yes, please keep sending me tips. And yeah, I really appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.